So this will be a short video about the words "su" and "sas" in Greek, these two little words that you will hear a lot when people say hello. Yeah? Like γεια σου, γεια σας, καλημέρα σας, καλησπέρα σας, καλό σας βράδυ, etc. First, I will explain what these two words are, and then how you can use them. But first, let's start with what these words are. So, the full explanation would be that "su," let me add here sans because I forgot to do it. "Su" would be the personal pronoun in the genitive case, in the second person, and in the singular. And "sas" would be the same thing, but in the plural. Now, what does this mean? In English, roughly, this is something like "to you." We use the genitive in Greek for the indirect object to say something like, it's the same shoe. I'm going to use now, it's the same shoe. So listen to this phrase. Σου δίνω το βιβλίο. I give you the book, or I give the book to you. Just to make it clearer, you can say, I give the book to you. So literally, to go back to the topic, what Greeks say is something like, hello to you, singular, okay, and hello to you, plural. Hello to you, let's say all, yeah? Or good morning to you all. That's what a rough, that would be a word for word translation of something like kalimera σας, yeah? If you want to translate it word for word, it would be something like good morning to you all. There are many people, more than one. That's the point of kalimera σας. Now, I have some equivalents from other European languages. I chose different groups, 2 Slavic languages and 2 Romance languages, to give you an idea. It would be, of course, Spanish doesn't have for the personal pronoun and genitive. You have a dative, but it doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. This would be the rough correspondence with other European languages. So you speak one of them, you can check for yourself and see what "su" is. Again, the important thing to understand here is that this "su" and "sas" doesn't appear only when you say hello or good morning. It also appears when you say things like I give you the book, or I buy him a present. Του αγοράζω, well, here it's him. I buy you a present. Σου αγοράζω ένα δώρο. Σου αγοράζω ένα δώρο. Here, I think it makes perfect sense. Okay, so again, if you want a rough English translation, it's something like to you. Okay, now that we know more or less what it is and what it means, to you, let's see how we can use it and why we have this, why Greeks say both γεια σου and γεια σας. What's the point? So, first of all, let's see at which situations you can add this "σου" or "σας." So, with γεια, which is hello, γεια σου, γεια σας, or γεια. Okay, some people ask me, can we say just γεια? Yeah, of course you can. Especially if you are seeing the other person face to face. If you are on the phone, maybe not, but when you see the other person face to face, I think it's very natural to say yeah. Yeah. It's also much faster, and when when you are with friends, you just want to be quick. You don't want to say the whole thing. Γεια σου Κώστα, yeah. Now, καλημέρα and καλημέρα σας. Καλημέρα would be for one person, καλημέρα could be for many people. You can also, if you use the name, if you don't use the name, it's not so common, but if you use the name, you can add "σου." You can say καλημέρα Κώστα, of course, if you want, without "σου, but you can also add it. Καλημέρα σου Κώστα, καλημέρα σου Γιάννη, καλημέρα σου Maria. It's perfectly good Greek. And if you are talking to a lot of people, you can say καλημέρα σας. With all these kali word, like kalimera, good morning. Kalispera, good evening. But notice Kalispera can also be used, at least by some people it's used. I don't do it, but many people do it, for something like 2 or 3 p.m. Many people use it very early in the day. Personally, I think it's something more for something like 7 or 8 p.m. But anyway, καλό βράδυ, good evening, καληνύχτα, good night. Yeah? And you can say καλημέρα σας, καλησπέρα σας, καλό σας βράδυ. Just be a bit careful. You cannot say this. It sounds a bit unnatural to say καλό βράδυ σας. It's much better, much preferable to say καλό σας βράδυ. Or, and finally, καληνύχτα σας. Now, some people, however, might have already noticed that Greeks often use this word σας to you in the plural, not only when they are talking with one person, but very often when they are talking, not only when they are talking with many people, but often when they are talking with just one person. What's happening here? It is that in Greek, we use the second plural. In English, second plural for politeness. Actually, this is not something that only the Greek language does. It's quite common among European languages. I know it's done in French, in South Italy, and also in Russian. Yeah, it's more, I mean, most people would associate this with a language, but actually it's more of a cultural thing, you know, because you can see this in the case of Italy, where, you know, in the South you can use the plural, second person, whereas in the North it would be more the third person, singular. It's more of a cultural thing. It's not something systemic about the language. But anyway, this is what we do in Greece. So when you want to be polite with somebody, you use this as. So, and this I understand can be a bit confusing at the beginning. This SAS applies in 2 different situations. Actually, 3 different situations, if I want to be very specific. Situation 1 where you can use SAS, yeah? One situation where you use SAS is, of course, talking to many people. I mean, I hear casually, yeah? They might be your friends. You enter a big room, there are 5 or 6 of your friends in there, you say yes. You don't say yeah. You can say yeah, by the way, if they're your friends, it's perfectly fine. But since there are many, it's perfectly good Greek to say yasas, hello to you all. Second, talking to one person politely. Okay, I will not get in detail now about when in Greece you use this polite form, the second plural for politeness, because although the general idea is very similar among cultures, there are slight differences between, let's say, Greece and France, how you do it and how often you do it, and when it's permissible to stop doing it. It's not exactly the same. But I won't get in much detail. For now, I think it's enough to just know that when you talk to somebody with politeness, either because he's old or because he's very rich or whatever, you use the second plural. Now, there's the third case. You are talking to many people politely, but here, you know, a problem that Greek has, you can't really distinguish between these two, between 1 and 3. So if I'm talking, let's say, if I want to talk to the parents of my wife, or let's say if I want to talk to the grandparents of a friend in a polite way, there is no way to show it just by using the verb. There are other words, like in many other languages, there are other words you can use to show this politeness, but you cannot just do it by using the second plural, because it would be exactly the same if you are talking to many people casually. Okay, and that's it.